Hey guys, can you hear me? Jane, Starseed, Light Work. What's up, Crow? Conspiracy Crow in the house. Check Conspiracy Crow out. He is the gentleman. He's got a growing profile. He sells coffee. It's really great coffee. Mr. Ayuras, pleasure to see.
How you doing, buddy?
How are you,
Oh, I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm well today.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Is it Tyler or Taylor?
Tyler.
Yeah, because I know, and some people like their names to be pronounced differently. So Tyler,
Absolutely.
it's good to know.
Tyler.
And we're both wearing.
Love it. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for giving us all some of your time. Absolutely.
A pleasure to be here and be part of this community.
Such a blessing to find like-minded individuals for everybody who's here and everybody in the comments. This is all about community, all about connecting, all about creating together.
People are saying hi. Somebody's in the house. Stir.
Shout out to Jane. She always deserves a little credit.
She does.
Just a little, maybe.
No, she deserves a lot of credit because, all right, let me just tell you this. Remember about 2 years ago when I put out that clarion call about this massive global meditation?
Yeah.
Which is now what they call the Happily Shift Now community.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Jane was the one who connected me with Tim Tactics, and then all the others that eventually joined our Happily Shift Now meditation, that we were doing monthly. And then I think at one point we're doing it every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But she was the connector. Yeah, she was the connector that connected everyone together, and it became a success. I think during the first global mass meditation, we had broadcasting on everybody's platforms. We had, I think, over 20,000 people that tuned in, which was, massive.
I've always called people like that conduit, and I've had the pleasure of knowing Jane as a friend for a couple of years now, and I always refer to her as the great conduit, which is, I think, fitting.
Absolutely.
An amazing role. So Ishmael, what are you up to right now? I know you have the Starseed conference in San Diego coming up this summer. Have anything else coming up before that, or is that kind of your next big event?
No, I actually have 3 events coming up. So the first one is actually in a few weeks. That's going to be in Florida. It's called the Quantum Summit.
Oh, in Florida. So we might have to connect there.
Yeah, I'll be in Cape Canaveral. That's not far. That's not far. So that's on the 9th, 9th, and 10th of June, coming up in a few weeks. So I'm going to be one of the presenters there. Carrie Cassidy is going to be there, among other truthers. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out. So that's coming up in a few weeks. And if people want to go see me at Cape Canaveral, just go to, type in on the browser when you're looking up the event, type in the Quantum Summit event, and you should have access to, to how to purchase the tickets and so on and so forth. But I'm also going to be speaking at the Starseed conference in July in San Diego on the 7th. That's going to be another thing that I'm looking forward to. This is going to be my first time doing a conference where it's just Starseeds. They're going to be presenting. Yeah, so this is the first Starseed conference, and from what I
great,
it is. Yeah, from what I understand, this is the first physical. I think for the last couple of years they've been doing it virtually. Right. So this is the first time where it's going to be actually in person, and a lot of great speakers are going to be there, like Debbie Soloris,
and a lot of people, some new faces, like the Natalie Nadine and people like that. I think it's great just to see the Starseed community growing and connecting together in person. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. It's about community, bringing people together so that we could create this massive ripple effect for those that are still unawakened. We could say, create a critical mass.
I watched an interesting documentary, kind of an obscure one the other day, but they were referring to and they were citing Dolores Cannon, and they were referring to those as in-betweeners, those who have the opportunity to ascend, but free will may or may not. And it's, I don't know, according to this theory in this video I was watching was that, it's kind of up to, that's what the star seeds who are incarnate right now as part of some of their job is to, help along the in-betweeners. For example, somebody on this live right now who just happened to via law of attraction come across stuff who may not have particularly been interested in something in regarding starseed conferences and solar activity. For some reason, maybe they found this and the seeds being planted. And I always think that's like the most important person around.
Absolutely. And it's very interesting that you mentioned the law of attraction, because as I'm trying to put on my Trenton crystal back on, the law of attraction is actually the the thing that kind of began this whole awakening back in, I think it was in 2001 when that book, The Secret. I think that book kind of created a ripple effect. Like it just kind of hacked the iceberg.
When really did make an impact.
And, after that book, I think that's what led to people moving from the concept of organized religion into the idea of self-realization and spirituality and metaphysics. And I think that's what kind of like led gradual ripple that led into the great awakening that took place, I say, within the last few years.
Metaphysics and physics, and some people say the merging of science and spirituality. I think we're really seeing that play out in front of our eyes. It's an honor to be talking with somebody like you who's been involved in, that cause and that path for such a long time. I mean, you were involved in, it seems that you had, an awakening quite some years ago. You were talking about some of this stuff before it was quite so in your book, Our Cosmic Origin. I read that when I was a little younger. Tell me about what you think the difference, something I wanted to ask you was for people who are, identifying as starseeds and things like that, and really identifying with this and wanting to help and wanting to get involved now. Well, one, I wanted to ask, of course, naturally, what your advice would be on how they do that, some words of wisdom. But I was more curious on your personal opinion on what the difference is maybe now versus, say, when Ishmael was really waking up.
Well, that's a very good question, brother. I guess I'm always learning. Don't get me wrong or anything. I still have dark nights of the souls, just like we all do. Those are necessary for further expansion and growth. That's how we achieve initiation, when you incorporate esoteric knowledge. And now I have a firmer foundation, a more understanding of things. I was mad at the world. I was mad at religion. I was mad at the educational system. I was fed up. Just like everybody else, I went through a period of questioning and not liking, everything that I was taught, and not liking the way things were going on this planet. And that, my friend, is what allowed me to just kind of go deep within myself, deep within the rabbit hole. And just, that's how I was able to arrive at all this information, was through just wanting to know the truth about everything, but it all starts with being pissed off at first. I think everybody goes through that. Yeah. When we first wake up, we're kind of mad, and it's normal.
Certainly, some days it might, always dark night of the soul. They never stop. Yeah. I think I made a comedy video about that a few months ago, but there's no one dark night of the soul. You said it great. Ever learning, ever developing. I asked that question because I thought, some people might benefit from your answer there, and I thought you answered great.
Oh, you're welcome. So it's not like it's not over yet. There's still a lot of purging that we have to undergo.
I would agree. There's still much work to be done, and that doesn't just mean, spreading awareness. And like you said, there is some, what we humans have come to know as pain involved with that purging. There's something to go through, I guess, before we're really there at the new earth. That's true. So
So one of the biggest things that is causing individual and collective purging is the solar flares.
Thank you
Plasma,
for talking
yeah.
about that. I wanted to ask you about solar flares.
I think that everything, like Tesla said, everything boils down to energy. Frequency, vibration. Our planet is vibrating at a particular frequency generated by the sun. Our planet has been in a very low density because the sun also goes through its own evolutionary process. It goes through different stages of phases, you could say.
Sure.
Our sun is getting ready to also transform into its next level of evolution, which is what many call the white sun. So we're all going along with that, and that explains the planetary ascension of planet Earth. So what's happening right now is that the solar waves, or you could say the CMEs that are coming in, are actually forcing everybody to purge any residue, any density that could still be holding us back emotionally, so that's what's happening right now on an individual and on a collective level. It's causing everything to come to the surface. So on a geopolitical level of reality, we're seeing it as the truth finally surfacing, realizing that the system is unworkable and the system is not in alignment with, the new Earth, the 5D Earth. And so that's crumbling on a collective level. And then on an individual level, we're being forced to face our shadows. We're being forced to deal with our wound, perhaps trauma that is still stored deep within ourselves, deep within our emotional body, and we need to clear it before this transformation takes place. Yeah.
Trauma, I personally believe trauma is, an individual concept, but and also a collective concept. I think you probably agree on that. We have collective traumas as groups, maybe.
Oh, we do. Countries have traumas. The whole planet is, as an entity, Mother Gaia has her own deal of traumas that she's clearing. And that's what's happening is that she's purging, we're purging. So it's not a very fun experience. We're going to have recurring dark nights of the souls. We're going to have moments where we just want to burst into tears and just cry. But that's all part of the process. That's all part of the purging that we are all undergoing at this time. And at the same time, our sun is communicating with us at a cellular level. It's communicating with our dormant DNA.
Right?
And so there's a huge restructuring of codons that is taking place. And that explains why a lot of people are having, no motivation,
things like that.
Well, not only that, but yes, you're right. It is increasing our intuition, but at the same time is causing, like people to just not want to do things throughout the day, just want to take naps, or people waking up early or in the middle of the night, not able to go back to sleep. It's because our body is mutating at a cellular level. So there's a lot going on right now. We are literally being transformed. We're literally being changed from Homo sapiens to, but also is known as Homo.
Everybody take note. Homo galactus and
Homo luminous. Not Homo. That's the Antichrist path of the transhumanist AI agenda. Exactly. Homo Borg is something else. That's not happening in our reality, at least not that I think of.
I looked in some of the comments and something I saw that was I saw two good ones there. Pretty basic question actually, but it's a fundamental. Is ascension up or down? But I think that's a fun question. Not the definition of the word, but do you think ascension is up? Ascension down? Is it really a rising?
Yes, it's a rising. Think about it this way, the opposite of ascension is it's the one becoming the many. It's the one breaking down through the process of involution, right? The deceleration of frequency, energy becoming matter, which explains everything, right? Like why everything seems to be so separated. Fragments, right? Fractal. So that's the descent. Yeah, the descent is how the one infinite mind, underwent descending of spirit into matter. The opposite of that is ascension. It is the reintegration process of matter integrating back into spirit, into becoming one again. So it goes beyond the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is just one phase of the evolutionary ascension process. But yeah, it is ultimately directly related to the idea of expanding and reuniting back with everything else. Because ultimately, the whole cosmos is one unified, one cosmic consciousness, divided itself into an infinite number of fractals in order to explore more of itself. Okay, exactly. That's the descent. So the descent is a process that happened and has been going on for billions of years. And now we're going to be experiencing the ascension, which is the returning back to oneness. And that's my definition of ascent.
Did you see the recent Terrence Howard interview with Joe Rogan, or any clips of it? I know there's some stuff going around about it that's pretty viral, pretty controversial.
Not at all.
So he made a statement on that show regarding black holes, and a lot of people found this interesting. He was going really deep into, metaphysics theory, theoretical physics, wormhole physics, etc. And he made the bold statement that there were no such thing as black holes.
I agree with him. And in fact, that's one of the things that I talk about in my book, Our Cosmic Origin, is that thing at the center of the galaxy, it's a toroidal field. It appears black because it is spinning in dimensions that are beyond our measurable instruments. So it appears like it to be, empty, just spinning. But in essence, it's a huge, colossal central sun that is emanating universal life force that sustains the billions of stars. So I agree with him.
No, I thought that was something I wanted to ask you. I watched the interview both at the request of and the recommendation of others, and of course just saw some viral clips. And of course that led me down some rabbit holes and to do a little bit of research. But I figured, well, why not ask Ismael Perez while he's here what he thinks about the answer to that question? Otherwise, if anybody has any question, please put them in the comments. Recent solar activity. I heard you mention solar flares earlier. I follow solar activity. I have apps on my phone and everything like that, Could you kind of summarize the recent tick in solar activity and what that really means for the everyday person?
Sorry?
I was saying we got into solar flares a little bit earlier. I have the solar apps on my phone, and I get notifications whenever there's a certain flare somewhere and certain solar activity. And of course, I've noticed and seen over the past few years that there's a heavy increase in solar activity and the magnitude of solar flares. Could you expound upon that a little bit as far as the increase and what that might mean for people in their daily lives?
Well, it means multiple things. We do live in an integrated, holistic cosmos where we're part of a bigger body. So what's happening here on a micro level of reality, it's something that is being orchestrated on a macro level, where we have the efforts of the universe sending its light rays through the central sun to our galaxy. And then in turn, our galaxy picks up that new codon, which is a new mathematical formula that causes what many call spontaneous evolution to take place. And our galaxy sends that over to the billions of stars. So there are, normable phases of evolution in which I cover in regards to the type 1, type 2, type 3, all the way to type 5 civilizations that exist throughout the multiverse. So what's happening here on a planetary level, as we are getting ready to transition into a type 1 interplanetary civilization, is that those new mathematical formulas are being sent out through our galactic core into our sun, transforming our sun into the next phase of evolution, and then ultimately transforming us. And we've been doing that ever since we were born, And so, but at the same time, it's a collaborated effort that it involves our entire universe. Our entire universe is involved in the ascension of planet Earth at this time. So, this is, transformation is upon us.
I think change is upon us. I'm going to enjoy the journey, and I'm going to do the best I can to contribute to it.
And all we can do.
I had quite a drastic spiritual awakening about 3 years ago. I truly left my old life. My wake up was more through real world examples, exposure to things, politics, healthcare, Hollywood. My background is music. I was in the music industry for quite some years, but something that I have only recently in the past few months really started to understand the concept of enough to speak on is the different star systems and things like that. And I'm starting to get a question. People ask me, what star system are you origin from? And I mean, truthfully, I don't know. How will I know something like that? What would be like a way for me to go about knowing?
That is a question I get asked a
I'm sure
lot.
it is.
There are multiple ways. Now, I also offer a course where, I teach you the entire cosmic history of the multiverse. And at the end of the course, I actually teach you two of my techniques that will help you remember who you are and connect with your galactic self.
That's pretty incredible. What's that called?
It's called our Cosmic Origin course, and you could access it through my website, www.ourcosmicorigin.com. And for those that are interested that have never taken my course, I do have a new course beginning the 8th of June.
Ishmael's got a new course dropping on the 8th of June. Starseed Conference.
Yes.
Well, San Diego. Lining up guests, working on the technicals and everything right now. And some first few episodes will be coming out. And figured I'd throw that.
Well, thank you, brother. And I also wanted to extend gratitude to all the audiences and everybody that tuned in.
We thank everybody who joined in. I hope somebody heard something that helped them out of this. And Ishmael, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today. And I hope we can speak again soon.
Just to always go within yourself and verify everything with your higher self. Your intuition will never deceive you.
All right, everybody. I'm Tyler, otherwise known as Heath. We'll see you next time, guys. Who wants to view the rest of this video if they just joined?